welcome. I hope you enjoyed our new introduction as much as I have. Our team has been working around the clock, literally day and night. We've got some amazing offerings that are going to be introduced tomorrow for our Talking Heads platform, and I am excited to share them with you as soon as I get my hands on them tomorrow. So you are watching USA Global TV, or you're listening on Business Talk Radio, and our show is Talking Heads. Talking Heads is all about leading experts from around the world who come and share short, bite-sized lessons to help make us better personally and or professionally. And we've got two experts today. One is actually backstage. The other is in transit. So before I bring our expert out, I just want to remind you that tomorrow we have an amazing online seminar. It is the power of listening. This is where I will share with you tips to help you become an expert listener. Why should you care? Because a lot of things in life are misunderstood. There's a lot of times we have judgments, we have ideas in our brain already, and we're not listening to what someone else says. So you really can get a leg up and have a competitive advantage, have better relationships, deeper connections with people, and have a happier life by learning how to listen. So I'm going to just share with you quickly the graphic for you to go over to Eventbrite and book your ticket. Here it is. It is the power of listening. And the great news, folks, is you do not have to attend in person. You can attend anytime. Watch it over and over and over again. So again, please go to Eventbrite and put in the power of listening, or you can go to my website, drjacalyn.com, and you can actually go ahead and book your ticket there, or you can go over to Instagram, and my link tree is there, and you can purchase your ticket that way as well. So here's the banner, and thank you so much. I look forward to having you join us tomorrow, whether you're there live or you join us virtually. All right, let's bring out Caroline Heward. She is our expert today, and Ricki McKenna is also joining us. Caroline, welcome.
Hello, good to be back.
I'm here. I love it.
I'm almost here every day, aren't I?
Yes, you certainly are. But you have so much to share.
I do. I always have some interesting things to share, and I've got even more interesting things to share tonight too.
Fantastic. And there's sort of been a connection, symmetry between you and Ricki McKenna, so I'm looking forward to when she comes backstage to join us today as well. We've got a comment, and it's from the Mr. Wonderful Hyatt Ives, who writes, great new intro. Well done. Thank you, Hyatt. And thank you to our team who has put that together. Also, we've got a comment from Cindy Wilcox in the house. Hi, Cindy. Nice to have you with us. All right, Caroline, I would love to spotlight you and try to come up with a question I haven't asked you before. You are all about bringing world peace, and if you can share with our audience what you would like each of them to do to help with this initiative.
It's a wonderful question. What I would like each person to do is to resolve the inner conflict within you, because we will create world peace person by person by person. It's not about fighting with guns and bombs. It's actually about resolving the battle inside, the inner battle, by residing in the mind, or the escape routes that you use, by reconnecting back to your heart. When you reconnect back to your heart and the mind goes silent, you become more peaceful and you generate an inner peace. Now that inner peace translates into your environment, that translates into your family, your friends, your colleagues, and therein lies the way we create world peace. It isn't so complicated, because it's about resolving our own internal battles. And we can all do that. And we can all create a better world for ourselves, our relationships, our family, our communities, and everybody around us.
Thank you very much, Caroline. We've got some sirens here, so I was muting myself for the time. Yes, that is so important. And I also want to just share with our audience, and I shared this morning on the Great Britain Show, is that I had the honor of working with Caroline this week, I think it was, and I felt like I had a major breakthrough in her transformational session. So please do reach out to her. We are streaming her banner. Caroline, you are the Harley Street stress expert. Can you share a little bit more with our audience in terms of what it is that you do and how you connect with people?
What I do is I essentially look at root cause. So most people reach out to me with a symptom or a problem, like a marriage breakdown, a relationship issue, a bereavement problem, feeling very stressed or feeling anxious or feeling depressed, or they feel that they can't cope anymore. Certainly in our changing world, there's been a lot of people that have had massive changes in terms of their work. So essentially, it's what you're complaining about, what's not working for you. And you would reach out and I would look at 1-2 symptoms. And it might be eczema, it could be anxiety, it could be not sleeping, it could be OCD issues. It doesn't matter what it is, but it could be the thing that's causing you problems. And what I would do is I would listen to your story for about 5 or 7 minutes, so I don't need long. And then we would work together to identify the root cause of your earliest recollection. And therein lies the space where it literally obliterates, because in awareness, and the root cause is usually long ago, it's usually really old, and then we repeat the interesting experience and the feeling and the emotion over and over again. And so I would look at the root cause. Once that's identified, you feel different. And it is transformational because you don't have to go into the story and you will feel good. Emotion can release, and emotion releases however you integrate and process is your way. And some people integrate in dreams, some people become emotional, some people will write a letter, some people might make a phone call. It doesn't matter how you process and integrate, it's your way, and you will feel different and better and lighter. In fact, many people say to me that they feel like they've lost some weight. They feel like they just feel calmer, like the mind has calmed down. And the other thing that people say to me is that they've slept better at the end on that night of the consultation. So please reach out. I offer a free telephone or Zoom consultation, and I really would love to help you resolve some of that inner conflict.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And as I mentioned, I worked with Caroline. I'm going to contact her again. She knows what she's doing. So don't suffer anymore. Make that call, pick up the phone. We've got a couple of other comments from Mr. High Dives. Hello. Looking forward to hearing both Caroline and Ricki. And Ricki is MIA, Hyatt. If you're able to track her down, that would be great. She's not backstage yet. Cindy, what you are saying aligns well with the model of love leadership. # draw a heart around it. Thank you so much, Cindy. Very nice. All right, Caroline, are you ready to proceed with your lesson?
I sure am.
All right, I will go backstage and I'll be back after you're finished. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, everybody. Today, I'm continuing the series of the mind-body connection, and I'm particularly looking at the behavior transformation that we can make through looking at the mind-body connection and what happens to you in that symptom that doesn't work for you. And when you become aware of the symptom, the behavior that doesn't work for you, something amazing happens. In awareness, you become witness to what's not working. And in that witnessing, you can change your behavior and you can change the suffering that you have into a place where you literally obliterate what causes you challenges. Today, I'm going to be looking at the relationships that we're in, both personal and our business relationships. And in particular, the topics I'm going to cover is the blame-shame game. I'm going to be looking at perception is projection, the intimacy challenges that we all experience at some time or another, and the repeating patterns that we experience in our everyday life. I call that Groundhog Day. So let's get going on the lesson. So the blame-shame game. You may have heard yourself or someone else turn around and say, "You make me feel sick. You make me feel angry." And what's happening is the finger is pointing at the person. And then if you look at the hand, 3 fingers back to the power of the thumb to you. And so you're pointing one finger at the person, saying, "You make me feel angry, you make me feel sick." But you're pushing 3 fingers to the power of the thumb back to you. Now, what that means is we're disempowering ourselves to the power of the 3 fingers and the thumb. And so the finger that you point out, saying, giving blame to the other person, actually it restricts your control over being able to handle and deal with it, and it literally disempowers you. So this is not good as a behavior for anyone. But the amount of times that I've seen people do that to me, and I've done that to them before I realized. And one of the things that you can do in awareness, and this is the key, when you're in awareness of that behavior, that you're reaching out and saying, "You make me sick, you make me feel angry, I don't feel good when you're around me." When you put the blame onto somebody else, you literally give them your power, and you take away the way that you can heal yourself, and you take away your rights and your power and your control in the situation. What I would invite you to do is look at your response. Look at what it is that's coming up for you. If you are feeling angry, it is not the person that's making you feel angry. You make you feel angry. So what I would say is, when I'm in this situation, I feel angry. And look at what's coming up for you in that space of anger. Because it's really easy to blame the other person, because it is, because it's what we know. But actually, when we take ownership and responsibility, this is the key, taking ownership and responsibility for how we feel, how you feel in that situation, then you can change it. And in the space of witnessing that shame or that guilt that you're putting onto somebody else, saying it's their fault, when you say that in this situation or in this particular experience you feel this way, it's a behavior. We are not our behaviors. We experience the behaviors, and that's what we can change. The person is pure. It's just the behaviors that cause the problems for the person and for their interactions. So my invitation to you is, own it. Own your response. And in that space of ownership, you become a witness, and you can change how you experience that experience. And that's the same with shame. When you're shaming somebody that they're doing something wrong, that is because there's something inside of you that is suppressed, that you're ashamed of, and you're pushing that to the other person to handle. And it might not be that person's deal to handle in terms of the shame. So look at what you're complaining about. Look at where you're blaming. Be in awareness of your blame and shame, and take some responsibility for how you feel so that you can change it. Moving swiftly into perception is projection, is moving along the same lines of the same theme. So If you are angry about a situation, but you're pushing down the anger because you're not an angry person and you're very in control, and you don't like to be angry, but there is an anger about a situation. When you suppress the anger, what happens is it gets expressed into your environment, whether it's people that you don't know at train stations, bus stations, on the bus, on the tube, on a train, on public transport, whether it's in a cafe, in a restaurant, it doesn't matter where you are, but that same anger that you feel, if you are pushing it down, it comes up and it presents itself in your everyday situations. Now, what I'd like to clarify is that it's not that you're pushing your anger onto them. They will have an anger all of their own. But what happens is we are frequency and we are vibration, and anger has a frequency. And if you are angry and you've suppressed it, what happens is that gets pushed up and expresses out into your world, and other people will show you their anger. And really, if you look at it as feedback, now, if you look at it as feedback and people are being angry around you, or sad around you, or upset around you, or blaming around you, whatever it is that's being fed back to you, look at it as feedback. And when you look at it as feedback, you will see that it's something in you that's projecting that out. And what we tend to do when we're disowning the anger, the sadness, the upset, when we're disowning it and we push it down to not handle, what happens is it gets pushed and projected into our environment. Now, this is where it's uncomfortable because we will say it's the other person that's winding us up and they're doing this and they're doing that. But actually, there's something undealt with inside you that's moving that into your environment. And it's giving you feedback. And if you're not comfortable with what's happening in your environment, you can change it. Because if you're being met with sadness or anger, grief or upset or frustration, there will be something in you that is creating that. And this is where you could transform it, because all it is feedback. The frequency is coming back, bouncing back to you. And if it's something you're uncomfortable with, be a witness and change how you feel, change how you respond and how you're feeling. And you will know what you're angry, upset, or sad about, and start to integrate what that sadness, what that anger, what that upset is about in you. Because whatever you're pointing your finger at and telling the other person, you make me feel, nobody can make you feel anything. You make you feel. And in this way, we can change how we're experiencing life, and we can experience life for the better. Now I want to look at intimacy challenges in our relationships. And our relationships can be in business, in our personal life, our families, the children, if we have children. It can be within our friendships, our colleagues, and obviously with the intimate partner. Now, again, looking at the interrelational reactions, somebody that's very close to us, they will form our triggers. They will know our triggers and they will kind of push the trigger, push the button. And we will comment frequently saying, oh, pushing my buttons again. You're allowing that. And you do have buttons. We all have. And I would like to invite you to look at that triggering and that button pressing, is that this is something for you to handle, to transform. And if you are bearing witness to your triggers and your button pressing, that is a gift, and a gift that you can go and transform and look at for yourself as to what it is in you. What is it in you that's unresolved? And whatever it is in you that's unresolved, that's making this trigger happen, look at it and process and integrate whatever it is, because it's coming up for a reason. It's coming up for you to clear. Intimacy, it breaks down to into me see. And so when we're complaining about our intimacy challenges within our relationships, we're really complaining about ourselves, our own undealt with issues, our own undealt with relationship issues within ourselves. If we're complaining about trust, there will be an internal issue about trust that's not being resolved inside you. So intimacy is about us, because our relationship, our first relationship, is with ourselves. And if we haven't got that sorted, then everything reflects back at us. So the invitation that I give to you is to, rather than complain, feel what it is inside you that's not working, and start to integrate and process the feelings and emotions that have been undealt with. And the final thing that I want to cover is repeating patterns, Groundhog Day. So have you ever been in an experience that you've kind of thought to yourself, oh gosh, same time, same channel, same story, different person, different name, but it's the same feeling. It could be that you complain about your boyfriends or your girlfriends, or it could be that you complain about a friend. It could be that you complain about a colleague. But whatever it is, it's an internal feeling and experience that's very familiar. And that familiarity is because it's yours. That familiarity is that the experience is inside you. And it's repeating because there's some undealt with feelings and emotions about that experience. And that's one of the things that I look at is the revolving, I call it the revolving door, or Groundhog Day, that you're back here again, same experience, different person, same internal experiences and feelings. And it's because there's something that's unresolved. And so what happens is, when the universe thinks that we're okay and we're strong enough to handle it, that experience and that feeling comes up again. And for me, there's many experiences that come round time and time again. One of the things that comes up, which is kind of really funny for me, and I always smile when I see it, is that the kind of people that I'm attracted to, I'll end up, sort of in a conversation and want to date me, they're usually workaholics. And I find that really amusing, because I've always been a bit of a workaholic. I love what I do and I do what I love. But it does make me so passionate about what I do that I'm very wedded to what I do. So I work a lot because I enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work. But I do attract a lot of people that are very passionate about what they do in their working lives. And they become what would be seen as workaholics, almost like they don't switch out because it's not work to them, it's a vocation. And it always makes me smile when I meet someone and they're working late hours, or they're working weekends, or around the clock, or they've got long days. I just find it really amusing. And it's because it's feedback. It's feedback to me that, yeah, I still need to handle this working around the clock. Maybe I need to work less, but I never really consider it as work. And that's because I'm passionate about what I do. I love changing people's lives and helping them live in a much, much better way. But look at where your repeating experiences are coming from. Look at what you keep experiencing. Look at that Groundhog Day that you'll know what they are, because you will be complaining and saying, oh gosh, all women are the same. Oh, all men are the same. Oh, family, God, they just drive me crazy. But what it is, it's something in you that's unresolved. And that's where you can take your power back. That's the magic spot where you can change your life for the better. Please reach out on nomorestress@live.co.uk and reach out for that free telephone consultation or a Zoom consultation. I would love to be able to help you. You can reach me on telephone number +44 if it's international, 0 if you're in the UK, 7523 120 189. It's been my pleasure to deliver this lesson to you today.
Well done once again. Thank you so much. We have a comment from Hyatt Ives, who's over on YouTube now. I love it. Thank you, Hyatt.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere. Caroline, great insight and grounding points. We have to get together soon. Yes, you could have your own dynamic duo presenting. So that sounds great.
Sounds beautiful.
Thanks, Hyatt. I can relate to everything that you talked about today. It's so interesting. I definitely, through the course of my life, it's just the people change, but the situation was exactly the same. It's like the merry-go-round, whatever it is. It's just same thing over and over again. And it's, you have to look at yourself and go, what's the common denominator? Hello.
It's
you. And once you realize that, then you can break the pattern.
Yeah. Because that's I forgot to say that, but that's one of my punchlines, and I forgot to say that, because you are the one that's always there. You are the common denominator in every situation. And that's what's powerful, because when you realize it's you, or it's me, I'm the one that's always experiencing this. And when you look at other people's stories, they will have their own repeating patterns and their own repeating experiences, their own Groundhog Day, and you will be able to see theirs as crystal, as clear as crystal. We never see our own so easily because we're in it.
So true, Caroline. And, just a transparent share is that since I've been away from all the dysfunction for so long, now that I'm living in a different environment and just doing my business now, I don't miss it, and I don't want to have it ever again. And I'm quite happy just with myself. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I know so many people who feel like they have to be in a relationship. It's like, I've got to meet someone. I've got to have a date. I have this event to go to. And I just am and have been like, no, I don't need to meet anyone. I don't need a date. But other people feel differently. So to each his own.
That's very true. I've been on my own for quite a long time, and I actually didn't used to like my own company. In fact, when my marriage fell apart, I walked the streets until about midnight because I couldn't face being on my own in the living room. I know that's kind of, it sounds real sad, but I was usually out, and if the nights that I wasn't out, I just couldn't sit on my own. And one of my friends, bless her, she gave me a home truth. She said, if you can't stand to be in your own company, how on earth do you expect another man to be standing your company? And, it was a truth serum, because I didn't like to be on my own. I liked to be always out and doing things, but that was my escape mechanism, because I felt better when I was out, and I felt that, I was with other people, and I didn't have to be on my own. I didn't have to face myself. And that was the raw deal of it all, that I couldn't be on my own. Now I absolutely adore my own company. And I do, I have fun, I dance on my own, and I laugh on my own, and I meditate on my own. In fact, I do a lot of things on my own that I enjoy. And sometimes I'm out in the busyness, out in networking meetings or in courses, or I'm doing something that's really, really, with a lot of people. And then I really look forward to going home and tucking into my, my Egyptian cotton duvet and, and being really sumptuous. And it's just, I've made it so lovely for myself that I'm really taking care of myself. And sometimes when we're engaged in the external, we forget about being ourselves. We forget about what we love, what we like, what we enjoy doing, because we're too busy being with other people that we kind of forget who we are, what what our own identity is and what we enjoy. And, you know, last night I had an early night and it was lovely. It was not last night, sorry, the night before, Monday night, that was it, Monday night, sorry, because I was with you last night. Monday night, I had an early night and it was just lovely. I literally enjoyed the fact that I could kind of, you know, veg out, and I had a nice hot shower and I went to bed early and it was just lovely. And I didn't feel, oh, woe is me. I was really enjoying the space of my own company. And that sometimes we're being all things to all people. Sometimes we're being in a role to each person that we're with. We're being, you know, the mother, the daughter, the housewife, the carer. We're being, you know, all the different roles, the worker, the businesswoman. We're being all different roles. And what about the role that who are we? You know,
Yes.
and, you know, I would say, Caroline, who are you? And that was the journey that I made when my marriage broke up. I started to look at me. What did I enjoy? Because I kind of got consumed into the relationship of the two of us, and I forgot what it was like to be myself.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that with you. I have many more things I want to discuss with you. And Ricki's not here. Ricki's not in the house. So we're going to go to a break, and we're actually going to watch 2 music videos because I'm that kind of mood, Talking Heads music. And then we'll come back and have some more conversation. How does that sound?
Wonderful. See you back.
Perfect. So we're going to have 2 videos. The first one is called Follow Love, and that is from the beautiful Madeline Chan, who is my vocal coach. And the next is from the debutantes, 2 sisters, Lavinia and Victoria. And we're going to watch their clip called Paradise. And then we'll be back with Caroline. Stay with us right here.
By your love, what you giving me is just not enough. I need a love to take me higher and higher and higher. Every step I take, I feel more awake. Getting closer now, I feel so alive. Stopping me, this is how I live. Ever closer now, just follow love.
Welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You're watching Talking Heads, and I am just so pumped up about that intro and our commercial break and the music that we heard from Madeline Chan and also from the debutantes. It's just great to be here and here with you, Caroline. It's just such a special moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Me too. I feel very excited too. I love those 2 songs. They are just incredible.
One thing I'm going to share with you is I had my voice lesson with Madeline yesterday, and she said that I should start recording myself. So I have us on Zoom, and she's, you know, in the one square, and I'm in the other square, and I'm singing all that jazz. And I really got into it. And it was actually hilarious to let yourself just go. Like I can imagine you dancing at night, and I'm over here singing by myself. But it reminded me of to what you're talking about. I remember visiting a girlfriend who was recently divorced, and this is before the pandemic, and she had the television on in every room. It was like blaring loud. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I can't stand the quiet. I have to have something." And we started talking about it a little bit more, and she was just incredibly lonely and didn't want to be in her own skin. She felt like she needed to have somebody around or something around. And you'll also hear people say, "I've got to stay busy. I've got to stay busy." And that's because they don't want to be alone with themselves, right?
Yes, that's absolutely right. And that's how I was when I was in corporate. That's exactly how I was. I didn't know what it was to be on my own. I was always out, I was always doing things, and it was my way of escape. We all have ways of escaping, but that was my way. I just was super busy and super social, and I didn't know how to be on my own. I didn't know how to sit still and be quiet and just, my mum actually uses the word mellow out. I quite like that because my mum does mellow out. And it's a good description of, I didn't really do that, so now I do it a lot. I mellow out in different ways. I dance, I sing, I chant, and it's, when I'm doing my housework, chanting, and it makes me feel good, it makes me feel different. And, even when I'm cleaning, I'm feeling something because I'm taking pride, because I'm present. And that's the key. Sometimes we're doing things, but we're not actually present to what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so we're in our mind, sort of thinking about something else. So when we're eating, we're not eating because we're thinking about the meeting we've just had, or we're thinking about what the next day is going to bring, or what we've got to do. And so you're not really present to what you're experiencing in that moment. I've had some people call me and their car was so quiet that they were driving during a free, therapy consultation. I said, "Oh my gosh, you could have an accident," because I'm taking them into a really deep, relaxed space. And I said, "I don't want to be responsible, and it's only because I've heard the indicator." I said, "Are you driving?" But this is the nature of this. Of course I am, that I've got an hour and I'm driving from one place to another. And so now I can do the free consultation. I said, "No, you can't." And we're used to doing two things at once, or even three things at once. And it's because we're not being present or experiencing that moment in the moment that we're in. And so whatever we're doing, so when I'm cooking, I'm cooking. When I'm eating, and I'm experiencing the sensations of the flavors. I can remember I'd done a big meeting with some of my voluntary personal self-development stuff a number of years ago. There was about 20 of us. We'd gone to a restaurant. And but it was a long day, a long meeting, an evening meeting, and we'd all gone and ordered. And my food came because I was one of the first there, and there was like a group of us, and I took one forkful and I said, "That's good." And there was some people that had just walked in, and one of the main people, that was leading the meeting, said, "I'll have what she's got."
That's from that movie, That's from When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. Has anybody out there seen When Harry Met Sally? That's a great movie. That's her famous line. She orders this sandwich and she starts making all these noises, and the woman goes, "I'll have what she's having."
I've not seen that movie, but that's my thing, and some people say, "What have you got on your plate? Can I have a try of it?" And I go, "Yeah, of course." And it's because I'm having a sensory experience eating food. And so I will eat food slowly. In fact, even when I was a child, I used to eat really slowly. I was always the last one to leave the table because I just ate slowly because I enjoyed it. And many people, they eat for function, "Oh, dinner's ready, I need to eat." But they're not really experiencing the sensations of the textures and the flavors. And so they're eating for the sake of eating and not experiencing the nutrition and experiencing the textures and the taste. So they don't experience the food.
I want to jump in on that one just for a second. when I was growing up, my father was all about being present at dinner. And so we were fortunate, we went out to dinner a lot, and the server would come over and be ready to take the order. And he would say, no, 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 we're dining tonight. We're having a dining experience. Please let us acclimate. And then contrary to that, I dated someone and he'd be like, listen, you have to get all dressed up. I'm taking you to this place. And we get to the place and he'd say, what are you going to eat? And I'd say, we just got here. I don't know. Can we just no, we need to eat now. I'm starving. And then we'd get the food and he'd say, hurry up. I want to go. And I thought, oh no, this is, what's the point of going out if you're not going to enjoy the experience? It was always like rush, rush, rush to get to the next thing.
I'm a 3-hour dinner diner.
I love that. That's great.
And it doesn't matter who I'm with, whether I'm with, sort of a party of people or one girlfriend or a friend, that's male. It doesn't matter who I'm with, because I'm engaged in the experience. And so I'm not rushing, and I do take my time because I'm enjoying the whole experience, not just the food, but being with the person. Frequently, I've looked around, sort of a number of hours later, and the staff have been hovering over us, and it's because they put all the chairs up.
The same thing, the last table in the place. But for anybody out there who's thinking, oh, you're taking up revenue that the turning the table, but no, you tip really well. You take care of the person, and they respect that.
Yeah. And so they say, so you've had a good evening? And I say, yeah, thank you so much. And they've really taken care of us because we've had the experience and we're in the experience. We're not complaining. We're enjoying everything. And it doesn't matter if the main doesn't come for 20 minutes because we're in an experience. And
I want to share an experience with you that I think you'll be able to relate to as a single woman. And I want to share it because I want people to think about it. I had a date for New Year's Eve, and I bought this beautiful dress, and I planned the whole night out. And I spoke to the guy. He was on, and I've been seeing him for a long time. And I spoke to him, and he was on his way, and he never showed up. And then his phone was turned off. And so, of course, I drove to his house, and he wasn't there. And the point is, I decided to keep the plans as they were and go in my gown by myself to the restaurant and then go for the dancing afterwards all by myself. And I told people later, and they were like, what? Are you out of your mind? How could you go out on New Year's Eve by yourself? And I thought, how could I not? I'm not afraid to be by myself. Every experience, I think, helps you grow. Of course, I was seething for part of it, but I ended up calming down, and I actually had a very nice time.
That's brave. New Year's Eve, that's brave. I don't think I could do New Year's Eve, but I've done meditations on New Year's Eve. I've done all-night gong baths, which have been kind of in a meditation, but where you're sort of on your own and sharing it with a group of people. I've done concerts on my own because it's hard to get sometimes 2 tickets for big concerts. So one of the concerts I went to on my own, and I got a brilliant ticket. I was like 4 rows from the front. I'm right in front of him. It was Phil Collins. I paid a silly amount of money. I won't even tell you how much I paid for that ticket. And I wanted to go and see him, and it was incredible. And I didn't regret one single penny of that expenditure. It was just pure luxury. And when you're in that kind of an experience like a concert, then you're interacting with the stars, sort of you're singing along, you're dancing along. Well, I am. and I'm in an experience. And really, if I was probably with someone, even though it would be good fun to share it, I don't really want to talk through it. I want to be in it. And so having done those concerts on my own, I don't feel afraid. But there was a point that I wouldn't do it. There was many people I wanted to see, and because I didn't have someone to go with, I just didn't go. And one of my friends actually had a conversation with me, and she said, well, why don't you go? I'm sure you'll have a good time. And I did. And it was because I could only get 1 ticket. And the very first concert I did that with is Simply Red. And it was around my birthday, and I absolutely wanted to go. And I managed to get 1 ticket, 4 rows from the front, right in front of the stage. And I'm going, I got to do this. I was looking for 2, and I couldn't get 2 tickets, and I got 1. And I booked the ticket, and I just couldn't believe the experience. It didn't matter that I was on my own because I was in an experience. The experience is internal. It's an inner experience. It's not an external. It's not that you need to be with people. And one of my friends was, I went to see Culture Club, and there was some friends that I knew real well, and they were in the same room. And I said, "Oh my gosh, you're here." And he turned around to me and he said, "Oh boy, Caroline, you sure are in an experience." Because I'm just dancing and I'm singing and and he's looking at me as if, because I knew him from the business world, and he'd never seen me, kind of freak out on my like that.
Right. Let your hair down.
And it's because you're in a sensory experience. And when you can dance like nobody's watching you, but you feel good in that experience, that's what it is. It's an internal.
You just remind me of something so funny about dancing. I won a trip from work, an incentive trip, and my mom and I went. It was an Alaskan cruise, and the water was really rough, and people were getting sick, and they were basically handing out bags and telling people to go to their room. So my mom and I happened to be in the disco, and we were the only people there at the time. So she loves to dance, and I can be a crazy dancer. Like, I can get up on tables. I don't care. So I was going crazy dancing. And all of a sudden, people had started coming around, and nobody else was dancing. They were just watching me and my mother completely freak out as the boat was going back and forth and back and forth. And it was so much fun. We didn't even acknowledge it. We were in our own world, having our own experience. But I'm just looking at the time, and we have another show coming up, so we need to close out for today. So
wow, well, that was fun.
Yes, it was fun. So, Caroline, once again, as always, please let me spotlight you and share with our audience about your offer that you have for everyone and how they can get in touch with you.
I offer a free telephone or Zoom consultation. Please reach out to me on email, nomorestress@live.co.uk, or call me internationally, +44 if you're UK, 07523 120 189. I am here to serve you. If you have any physical, emotional, mental, behavioral pain, or a relationship issue, or something that's just not working for you that you're complaining about, reach out and let me help you so that you move from a place of stress to a place of peace, inner peace, because that's what I'm all about. I'm all about helping others create their own inner peace, so we generate a conglomerate of inner peace for everyone.
Thank you, Caroline, and thank you for spending your evening with me tonight and with our audience. I appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure. Always is.
We always have so much fun. We missed you, Ricki. Hopefully you're all right. But Caroline and I were able to hold down the show and have a great chat. So thank you again. I'll see you later, Caroline.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night. Everyone who's watching, thank you so much. I just really do appreciate it. As I mentioned at the top of this show, we have a fantastic brochure of opportunities for everyone that I will be introducing tomorrow. I actually have a meeting 2 shows from now about the brochure, so I'm very excited. We're all up working late around the world, making sure that we've got incredible opportunities to help everybody get a chance to be on USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. Okay, I just want to mention once again that the Power of Listening seminar is coming up tomorrow. I had so much fun putting together the role plays and the questions. It's a completely interactive session where we'll watch a role play, and then you'll see on the screen there'll be a question about that role play. You get to answer, and then we get to see collectively how everyone has been doing. The other thing I want to announce, which I haven't mentioned before, is that I am taking part in an event tomorrow. It's called tomorrow night. It's called a Global Maps event. It's mental wellness, affirmations, and positivity. And Elaine Sugar is actually the one putting the event together. It's a week-long event, and I will be speaking on the power of listening. What a surprise. So do reach out to me on my website, drjacalyn.com. You can email me, Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com, to get any information about Talking Heads, USA Global TV, the power of listening, or the MAPS presentation tomorrow. And once again, we are coming right back after this within the name of love. And I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much, Caroline. Always a pleasure being with you. And thank you to Hyde and Cindy for engaging with our show. And Ricki, we're thinking of you and hope that everything's all right. Bye-bye.